I will give all rhythm action games a try if I can get my mitts on them, even if they've not been through a quality control filter, and sometimes the games on this channel really expose that. Rhythm Journey is a free-to-play vertical rhythm game. It's for 4 buttons, and you can use D, F, and J and K on your keyboard is how it's kind of all mapped out. And the idea is that you select the song and then just play out to your heart's content the various different charts that come steaming down the screen. This has all been developed by students for Games Arts Department in Japan, and the music has also been provided by students too. And whilst I absolutely applaud the soundtrack of this game, which gives me strong Dance Dance Revolution / Beatmania with a little bit of Vocaloid thrown in for good measure and some extremely chirpy J-pop, sadly when it comes to the actual rhythm action elements of this game, it feels like this should have been released as an early access prototype, but it's actually been sold as a complete game, admittedly free, but there's a lot of fundamental problems with this game that just make it quite difficult to recommend to anyone at all. The first problems start to hit when you look at the options, or complete lack of it, because there are no options in Rhythm Journey. You can't change the sounds of the hits, you can't time sync up the music to the visuals, you can't change the speed of the notes coming down. You can't do anything at all for key binding because there is no options menu. The menu is just literally select the song, then it hangs for an inordinate amount of time before then actually going into the game itself. All of those lack of options then make it abundantly clear that they should be present for this game, because the view of this game is so low to the ground on the track, but also the path seems really steep, that it's just an odd angle for how quickly the notes cascade down that never felt comfortable to me and very difficult to understand when you're supposed to hit something. And that's because the chart is out of sync from the music slightly, but the kind of perfect rating is really woolly, so you can be quite a long way off from actually hitting the note correctly visually, but hit it audibly and still get a perfect. But then sometimes it gives you a great when you hit visually correct but not audibly, and it felt really like all over the shot. The game also ramps up in difficulty really quickly with speed and just sheer number of notes, with you pressing 3 and 4 keys constantly between D, F, J and K on the keyboard. And the note sounds, because they're out of sync with the music itself, then start to put you off because they just drown out the music because they're so loud, and it all goes a bit like confusion. And there's like this cognitive dissonance of not hearing what you're playing isn't matching what the song is, but you're still getting perfects, and so it feels really unsatisfying to play. Then, the ultimate kicker, and one of the many reasons why I think why isn't this badged as an early access title, is that the scoring system is completely broken. So in the top left hand side of the screen you can see all of the different kind of moving up the ranks that go along. That's not saved anywhere. And when you then get to the end screen of playing through a game, it's placeholder text. So your top score is placeholder text, so is your current score, so is your combo. Doesn't matter what you do. And invariably, even if you just button mash, it still keeps registering everything as perfect pretty much anyway. You end up with an S rank regardless, and you just march on. The game is extraordinarily broken, and I completely understand that this has been created by students and it's them trying to get a game out and that it's functional and working. But it felt like there were some really obvious quality of life things in this game that you would generally expect from a rhythm game that's just devoid and missing. And whilst this is a technically functional rhythm game that is out there for free to play, the only part of this game that I can recommend is the soundtrack, which has got a real good plethora of like chirpy Vocaloid, extremely happy like J-pop. There's some proper like Beatmania DDR heavy techno bass mixes in here too. I quite enjoyed the soundtrack. It's just a shame that I had to play the game to listen to it. Now, I'm really aware that I have just been very negative about a student project, and it feels really quite unfair to have their first prototype put out there for the world to play with and interact with, because many creatives wouldn't put themselves in those positions. They're extremely brave for doing so, and putting it out as free to play I think is the right thing to do, because this is borderline not functional. But I do wish everyone the very best of success in the future, and as always, these kind of things are big learning experiences and curves, and so don't let the potential negativity of this experiment put you off in the future. It's all about refining your craft, and I'm sure you'll get there eventually. So best of luck, but personally I wouldn't want people to come and play Rhythm Journey as a actual recommendation. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.